What would you buy if I gave you $500? A Nintendo Switch? A single Gucci t-shirt? What if I told you you could invest it and potentially buy 5 Gucci t-shirts? Today, I'm going to show you 5 ways you can start investing with just a few $100, including stocks, investment accounts, and ETFs. Just a side note, I'm based in Australia, but aside from the products, most of the general rules should apply no matter where you are. Number 1, you can buy shares. A couple of decades ago, it would have been impossible to buy shares with just $500. These days, it's very possible, but it does depend on which market you want to invest in and what platform you're using. In Australia, there's normally a minimum $500 investment for every Australian company you buy shares in. This means, including brokerage fees, $500 probably isn't enough to buy ASX-listed shares. But you do have another option. You can buy stocks from overseas, primarily the US, because they don't have the same restrictions we do. It can actually be a lot cheaper. And some apps even let you invest in fractions of US shares. So for example, Google shares are priced at around $1,700, which means your $500 isn't enough to buy a single stock. But with fractional investing, you could buy 1/4 of a stock for $425. For example, our sponsor eToro lets you invest from $50 into US stocks without having to pay any broker fees. And it offers fractional trades, so you could even build up a mini stock portfolio by investing in half a dozen companies with just a few $100. And if you're not sure which stocks to buy, you can choose to copy other top traders on the app and set a limit of $500. The key is finding an app with low fees, because the smaller your investment, the more likely fees will eat into your returns. And that's only if you make a return, because stocks can just as easily go backwards. Number 2, invest in ETFs. Yes, you can buy shares in a few companies with $500, or you can invest in hundreds of companies at once through an exchange-traded fund. ETFs are investment funds that are listed on a stock exchange, so you can buy and sell them the same way you would buy stocks, through an online broker. Because you're investing in a whole diversified portfolio of stocks, it can be less risky than buying individual stocks, making them a great choice for your $500 investment. Like shares, there's normally a minimum $500 for every ASX-listed ETF, but again, US ETFs don't have the same restriction. If you wanted to invest in a portfolio of Australian ETFs, you could think of signing up to a micro-investment app. And that brings us to number 3, use a micro-investment app. Micro-investment apps let you invest just a few dollars at a time into the stock market. The apps available to you depend on where you live, but in Australia, one of the most well-known apps is Raise, or Acorns in the US. Raise rounds up your spare change whenever you make purchases and invests it $5 at a time into an investment portfolio. Micro-investment portfolios are similar to ETFs, or even made up of ETFs in the case of Raise, but there's a much lower minimum investment and usually no brokerage fee, so you can invest as many times as you like without having to worry too much about the costs. Number 4, buy gold. For better or worse, gold has historically been a popular place to put your money even during the worst of mankind's crises. So it's no wonder we saw gold rallying during COVID-19. The benefit of investing in gold is that you're buying something tangible that you can hold or even give to somebody as a gift. Then if gold prices go up, the value of your gold will also go up and you can sell it for more. To invest in gold, you usually need to buy gold bars. With $500, you could buy multiple 1-gram gold bars or a single 5-gram gold bar. And some apps like eToro also let you trade gold over the commodities market. This isn't the same as owning physical gold because you're simply betting on the price movements of gold using derivatives contracts. Commodities traders typically use leverage, which can maximize profits as well as losses, making it a high-risk strategy. Just like stock prices, gold can be pretty volatile, so it pays to have a plan in place. Number 5, open a savings account. Finally, if that's all a bit too risky, say for example you absolutely need that money back in a few months or even a year, you might want to think about a high interest savings account. This gives you a low return on your money, but it's guaranteed, and you can withdraw your cash at any time without worrying about market downturns or penalty fees. Before you jump straight into it, here are a few words of wisdom. If you invest a small amount, you either need your returns to be really high or the fees to be really low. For example, if you invest $100 into a stock and the broker fee is $10, you'd need your returns to be at least 10% to cover the costs. And if you're planning on investing small amounts regularly, your biggest cost is probably going to be the transaction cost or the broker fee. So make sure you know what it is. If you're trading US stocks, on top of the brokerage fee, also check the foreign exchange or FX fee, which is the cost to convert your money into US dollars. As always, make sure you do your research before investing in a stock or ETF, because they can be pretty risky. And the same goes for any investment product out there. Always read the product disclosure statement. Finally, is it possible to make a 500% return with just $500 in a year? Absolutely, depending on how much risk you're willing to take on. For example, if you'd bought $495 of Tesla stock 1 year ago, today you'd have $4,450, which is not only enough to buy 5 Gucci t-shirts, but also several Nintendo Switch consoles. I'd say that's worth waiting a year for. Of course, the risk being you could lose your investment altogether. And just remember, if trading with leverage, you could lose more than your initial investment. So there you have it, 5 ways to invest $500. And if you've got a little more to play with, follow the link below to our article, 5 ways to invest $1,000. Plus, you'll see links to our review of eToro's training platform, along with other useful investing guides. And remember to subscribe to the Finder YouTube channel for more beginner's guides to investing.